You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, it has happened. Godzilla vs. Kong will be going to HBO Max. However, you will also be able to see it in theaters, and it looks like it's going to keep its release window, which is May 21st. So we had a live stream discussing the rumor about Godzilla vs. Kong going to HBO Max last week, and I said on that stream, and I should probably cut it and put the video up, but I think by this time it's too late. But I did say on that stream that I think within a week we'll get a confirmation, and here we are. So, you know, there hasn't been a lot done on the channel lately. You guys know that. Obviously, this whole year, because of the pandemic, I've gone through this explanation a million times. But I have tried to keep up on whatever news comes out regarding Godzilla vs. Kong. And through that coverage, as stretched out as it's been because of all this, I've been fairly accurate on the assessment of this movie and where it's going. You know, the delays, being released to stream. And it's all because, and it's not because I have any insider, I don't. There are other YouTubers that cover movies and Godzilla and stuff like that that probably have more inside stuff than I do, because I just don't have that kind of time or leverage with the way my channel has been run to kind of reach out to big wigs. You know what I mean? Even despite the fact that I've actually spoken to some people at Warner Brothers, but that was more because of my channel. But the reason I've been able to kind of see what's been going on is because business. It's all business sense. It really comes down to business. How do you want to conduct your business? Now, this, I think overall, this is a good thing for everybody. One of the things I've been seeing over the last week, ever since the news broke last week that it may be going to HBO Max, is you've had one side very happy about it because they're hoping to see it regardless. The sooner the better, this and that. And other people want the theater experience. I think this is the best of both worlds. You're going to get the theater experience. You're still going to get that. And for those who just want to see it in the comfort of their home, we'll be able to do that as well. I know there are people out there concerned about the Monsterverse and this is not going to make money this way and this and that. You know, we don't know how that's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with that. What I will say, and I said this on last week's stream, and there were a lot of people there. We had about 140 people at one point that came in. There's my father's Roomba moving into the room right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And it stopped. I'm gonna have to edit this out, but this is kind of funny. Okay, I'm gonna probably have to take over the Roomba here. Give me 1 second. Okay, now that that's taken care of, what I said was, irregardless of whether or not Godzilla vs. Kong makes money, if everything was normal, no COVID, nothing, the movie came out and made 750, let's say, there's still not a guarantee that the Monsterverse continues in theaters. One of the things I mentioned on the stream was, where do you go after Godzilla vs. Kong? Honestly, where do you go? For us fans, we can go anywhere. The opportunities are endless. Destroy all monsters, you know, Return of Ghidorah, Mecha King, you know, we can go on and on and on. But we've said this before. This is something I used to get a lot of pushback on. I see as time has moved on, people have begun to accept the fact that the general audience brings in the money. They bring in the money, whether you like it or not, it's a fact. For the general audience, Godzilla vs. Kong is appealing, right? You have King Kong. Everybody loves King Kong, especially here in America. And Godzilla is well known. Even if you're not a huge Godzilla fan, you know him. So to see the two most iconic monsters hit the screen and duke it out, that's an appealing thing, even for general audiences, even if it's not the best story in the world. They're going to come to see Godzilla vs. Kong duke it out on screen. If we were to get a movie after that in this Monsterverse, if we get Destroya, right? If we get Destroy All Monsters and you bring, even if you bring Kong back somehow, you know, whether, you know, if he lives and stuff like that, there is no guarantee that any movie after Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be a success. We had a very successful 2014 Godzilla movie. We had a very successful Kong Skull Island. And obviously, Godzilla, King of the Monsters did not do well. For all intents and purposes, we've heard many debates about, well, it did well here and, it made some money. It didn't make money. Okay, let's just be honest. It didn't make money. It wasn't a complete flop. It fell short. It fell short. But companies don't like to lose money, whether it's 5 million, whether it's 60 million, doesn't matter. If you're not making a profit, then you're not doing well. It did well after the fact. And maybe that's something that they might think about and say, okay, look, we know that a movie after Godzilla vs. Kong may not do that great, but DVD sales may salvage that. So that's an argument you can make. But I firmly believe that the MonsterVerse will continue in other aspects. For example, comic books. Comic books, they seem to have a pretty good, foundation and a pretty good pathway for comics. They're consistently coming out with them. We know we have more coming out. Books. We've all spoken about and speculated, if there's a possibility of TV shows, a streaming show. It's possible. Netflix seems to have a great interest in Godzilla. They obviously took on the animated trilogy. They obviously have another animated show coming. Maybe it's something that we might see down the road, a certain Monarch kind of show, or something maybe animated but MonsterVerse related. But again, I think theatrically, I'm not 100% convinced the MonsterVerse is going to continue. And there's nothing wrong with that. This thing's not going to go forever. We're not going to get 27 MonsterVerse movies. It's just not going to happen. I would love for it to continue. I pray to God I'm wrong. I've enjoyed the MonsterVerse for the most part. Despite Godzilla, King of the Monsters performance, I enjoyed the movie a great deal, because I enjoy Godzilla, just like watching Godzilla. This is not necessarily a bad thing. I see two sides of the aisle here arguing, and I think, in my humble opinion, I think at this point, if you want to see it in the theaters, go enjoy it in the theaters. If you want to see it in the comfort of your home, go see it in the comfort of your home. At the end of the day, whether or not it makes money really doesn't affect us, right? It doesn't. We have no say in that. We have nothing on the movie. If it makes money, we don't get anything. If it loses money, we don't get anything. And I do think that they've done overall a good job. I think Legendary and Warner Brothers, mainly Legendary, have done well enough that they have honored what Godzilla was, maybe not in terms of its origin and what it really means, but in terms of the entertainment factor and keeping the spirit of what Godzilla is. I think they've done a fine job. So, I think, again, I don't think this is horrible news. I don't think, this means we'll be getting a trailer soon. I guarantee you that. Now that it's actually confirmed, it's going to be sticking to its date. It's going to be on HBO Max on its release date. If nothing else, you can start getting excited for marketing. I felt that maybe they might take a chance and push the movie up. And that's one thing I was definitely wrong on. They're going to keep it at the same date. So now we're pretty much approaching the 6-month period where you want to start promoting the movie. So don't be surprised if you see a trailer within this month. Don't be surprised if you see a trailer, if not this month, early next year, not Super Bowl. Everybody always says Super Bowl. It never happens on Super Bowl. It's way too much money. I can tell you right now, marketing is going to be very cheap. They're going to release the trailer online. You might get a couple of more posters. You might get interviews. Commercials. They're going to be commercials going through HBO Max, I think. Maybe they struck some sort of deal there, some sort of marketing deal where HBO can pick up some of the tab on that. So they can promote HBO Max in conjunction with Godzilla vs. Kong. We'll see. I think this is overall a good thing for both people. Now, my only caveat to this is I don't see why you would run to put this on stream if you're going to keep it in May. Because in my opinion, right now, despite what the media tells you, despite what's going on, and if you take the time to look up the information, because it is out there, COVID-19 right now is really not a threat. You're hearing about spikes happening. Yes, spikes are happening. You're hearing about all these numbers going up. That is true. That was going to happen. That is going to happen no matter what. Lockdown or no lockdown, everyone at some point or not is going to get COVID. Even if you manage to dodge it and you get the vaccine, you're kind of getting COVID. There's no escaping that. the survival rate for this disease right now, for anyone over the age of 70, is already reaching the point of 97%. That is without a vaccine. That is because obviously doctors and scientists have figured out better treatments to combat COVID for people overall, and this shows an improvement. Remember, people over the age of 70 from March to about early summer, their death rate was fairly high. It is not high anymore. If you're young, I'm telling you right now, take your face out of social media, take your face out of mainstream media, take the time to do the research yourself. If you are anywhere between the ages of 5 and 50, I could hand you a 20-ounce jug of COVID-19. You could drink it and you'll probably come out on the other side perfectly fine. But, for whatever reason, they think this is still going to be a big deal come May next year. I don't think it's a big deal now, but everybody's panicking. Look, despite the fact that I've lost 45 pounds, I'm still overweight. I'm still diabetic. So I have 2 underlying conditions. I'm not at the age range, but still, I have some things that I should be concerned about with COVID. I'm not. Some of you know I nearly died in August. Nothing to do with COVID. I had bacteria in my blood. So I can tell you right now, that doesn't make me more fearful. That makes me want to live more. And, so if you're going to go to see Godzilla vs. Kong in the movies, go do it with no fear, especially if you're young and healthy. You have nothing to worry about with COVID-19. You really don't. Your concern should be catching it and then if you live with grandma and grandpa or your parents happen to be older, like 60, then you should take some precautions, but even then you shouldn't be staying home. Now, look, I know what you're saying. Rob, you're not a doctor and this and that. I'm not. But I do take the time when it comes to serious things like this to look up, because it does involve me and my health as well. There's things I got to be concerned about. So when I take the time to look at the actual information that's out there, the correct information and the correct statistics, I'm not worried. I'm 40. I just turned 43, November 30th. I'm getting healthy, but I'm still overweight. I'm still diabetic. So I do have some things to be concerned about. And I can tell you right now, it doesn't stop me from going out. I don't always wear a mask. If I'm 6 feet away from people, I don't wear a mask. I don't. Okay? I'm just not going to wear one. If I'm closer to people, then I'll put a mask on. So don't be overly scared. And a lot of you guys are young, and I've seen you guys in chat during live streams concerned about COVID. If you're in your 20s, 30s, you'll be shitting all over COVID. You have nothing to worry about. So go enjoy Godzilla vs. Kong in the theater if that's what you want to do. And if you want to stay home and watch it at home, I'm going to watch it at home simply because it's just convenience. I'm not worried about COVID. I just like the idea of seeing it at home. I understand the theater experience argument, but that's just my choice. So, but anyway, I know I went off there a little bit. Back to the point. The other thing I want to say is I know there's a lot of confusion in terms of Godzilla vs. Kong. Why are they doing this? They're not, one thing I mentioned on the stream, and I want to end on this, is when you're a business, you're in business to make money, yes. But in a situation like this, your number one concern, more than making money, is not to lose money. And you can only lose money if you sit on your assets, which is why in this article, they mentioned their whole 2021 slate is going to HBO Max next year. Included with that, you have Snyder Cut. I'm sure they're getting a cut from HBO Max. I'm sure they'll make whatever they make in the theaters, and hopefully they can at least avoid loss. But I think the goal here is to avoid losses. Of course, they hope to make profit. They're going to do everything they can to make profit. But I think the goal here, don't sit on your assets, don't lose money. Those are 2 very important aspects of business. Everybody thinks it's all about making money, but you also got to save money, not lose money, and don't sit on your assets, because the longer your assets are not being used, the more value they lose. Movies are no different. This is why theaters hate doing delays. This is why after a while, movies are like, all right, well, I know a lot of people think, oh, but they're not spending any money in marketing. They can release it at any time. Yes, there's certain movies that will not lose their value. They will not lose anything if you release it later. Wonder Woman is a perfect example of that. However, a movie like Godzilla vs. Kong, not so much. You know, even some of the other movies that they have slated here, not so much. You don't want to sit on these assets too long because people will lose interest, people will forget, and after a while, people won't care. So I think that's one of the reasons why they decided to do this. Again, knowing what I know, I don't see why they couldn't release it in the theaters exclusively, especially in May. But I think considering how many people are fearful of COVID, even if things are a little bit better by then, people will probably be reluctant to go to the theaters. It's sad, it's unfortunate that a lot of people have bought into the fear factor that is COVID. You know, I'm not saying it's not a dangerous disease. Obviously it is. But when you break things down and you look at things percentage-wise, it really is not. It's really not as deadly as some of the things that humanity has dealt with in the past. And while 270, close to 300,000 people sound like a lot, and it is, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be concerned about that, try not to look at the inflated number. Look at the percentages, because that's what really matters. The amount of people who have gotten it versus the amount of people who have passed away. And majority of people who have passed away were elderly people in the very early running of this disease. When you hear spikes, don't get worried. That's normal. That's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen until the rest of the population faces COVID head on, because locking down and staying in a blanket or staying in a bubble, you're never going to avoid this. You're going to get this at some point. And you might have already gotten it. A lot of people are asymptomatic. So go out and enjoy yourself come May, you know, or even now if there's a movie that happens to be out and you want to see, go out and enjoy it. Be careful, be safety, wear a mask when you have to, you know, but even then, I don't encourage wearing masks if you're more than 6 feet from people and if you're outside. I go walking every morning for a couple of miles and I see people at the park wearing masks and I walk around wearing masks thinking to myself, that's ridiculous. You're outside, you're nowhere near anybody. It's ridiculous. So, but anyway, so overall, big news. Now look, I have an internet issue here at the house. Basically, the internet has been going on and off pretty consistently for everyone in the house. Like every 10, 15, 20 minutes, we're not getting anyone to come and fix it until tonight. So I'm hoping that it's fixed before tonight. And if it is, we will stream and talk more about this exclusively on the stream for those who want to come in. If I do stream, it's probably going to be between 8:30 and 9 p.m. My wife is out of town. She went to go visit her sister in Georgia. So I am taking care of the kids, putting them to bed. So, and they go to bed around 8 o'clock. So 8:30, 9 p.m., pending that the internet's working well, we'll have a stream here. We'll talk about this. You guys can vent for those who are upset. For those who are happy, you can cheer. But at least we know we're getting this movie in May one way or the other. So anyway, that is it for this long video. Sorry about that. I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on this and talk about it, see what you guys have to say, leave it in the comments. And as I said, we'll discuss about this more in tonight's stream. If I don't stream tonight, we'll definitely do it tomorrow night. And once again, like I said, we'll discuss the move to HBO Max. All right, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.